So welcome back to the channel. In a previous video, when I reviewed one of my little tool loadouts, my general purpose tool loadout that I use for electrical maintenance, I said I had a special kit that I used purely for working on live equipment, and the insulated tools that I have in that other loadout are just for general purpose use. So in this video, we're going to go through this kit that I use purely for live working. The kit itself here is from Tolsen. If you don't know who Tolsen are, they are a Chinese company. They were founded around about in 2004. Now they do have a line of more standard tooling for use across multiple sectors, but they also have quite an extensive VDE line that has its own website that I'll leave a link to down in the description box below. As I said, it's quite an extensive number of kits that they sell on that, from actual tool chests with a foam system. They do a 68 and 82 piece sets for those. Now, as far as I know, they come pre-populated, although you can buy the foam inserts populated with the tools as extras and create your own configuration should you want to. They do also do a roller suitcase that works with the same foam system. They do sell that roller suitcase either populated with their own configurations, or you can buy it as an empty case and again buy the foam inserts populated with the tools and create your own configuration. And they're in 45 and 52 piece sets. So those kind of sets are all too big for me. A lot of tooling involved in there. I'm not sure who would actually have a tool chest really with insulated tools. I guess it might actually be aimed at some of the automotive sector. Now you're seeing more and more electric vehicles coming into the market, and the battery systems work at quite high voltage for them, so there is a push for them to start using insulated tools. So I guess an automotive garage may be interested in that kind of a setup. For me, they do a number of these plastic hard case setups. They range from 11 piece to 30 piece tool sets. These are all pre-populated in foam cutouts. There are no customizable versions of these, so you end up picking the one that's the closest match for what your needs are. As well as that, they then move down to some smaller plastic cases that are between 3 and 11 piece sets, and they tend to be aimed at an individual tool, so just a group of pliers or screwdrivers or a socket set or something like that. They're not like these hard case ones that are more a mixture of different tool types. And then you also get a similar sort of arrangement in some padded wallets, again between 3 and 11 piece sets, and they do have a little bit of variation to them. And finally they have this little tool pouch setup here, which is a 7 piece set, really quite a basic set of insulated tools, but probably good enough to get you started with. With regards to the actual tools themselves, they are all VDE rated, 1000 volt and IEC 6090. I'll zoom into this label here, you can hopefully see a little bit more. The kit I've got is the V82115, comes with a set of screwdrivers, a set of pliers and a knife and a little plastic tester screwdriver as well, which stays in the case. As I said, they are all VDE rated, and in the UK I got this from Pass, who you can find on the tester.co.uk website. Again, I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. They are a test instrument supplier and calibrator. I've dealt with them for a number of years. They've also seemed pretty good to me. So I thought, even though there's a Chinese and we're not 100% sure what we're getting, if they're stocking it, then it should be okay. Now, they don't stock the full range of Tolsen tools. There's a couple of little tools that I would have liked to have got hold of. Tolsen do make a set of ratchet torque wrenches, VDE again. Would have been nice to get hold of one of those and see what they were like. And they do make quite a large spanner set as well, which is available from Pass, but the torque wrenches and a lot of the other kits that I've on about, the tool chest, the roller suitcase, all these mini cases, I've not seen them in Pass, and I've not seen them for sale anywhere really, despite all my Google searches. There's bits and pieces you see in there. Amazon have a few bits, a few of their interchangeable screwdriver sets and their padded wallet sets as well. But Pass are the company that seem to hold the largest range of VDE tools from Tolsen. But as I said, it is limited in comparison to what's available on the Tolsen website itself. Okay, so enough yabbering, we'll get into the kit itself. So obviously it's a blow moulded case. You have down the bottom here the hinges to actually have a steel pin in them, if you can see, hopefully, yeah. So a steel pin in the hinges, so pretty good quality case in that respect. The catches here are all 100% plastic, so I guess that's the weak point. If it's going to have one, they may well snap off. I'll flick him open. So we do still keep the little foam packing strip in there, just to keep them a little bit more tidy. Let's say this will be in pristine conditions because this is a set that I actually do use for deliberately working on live systems or live conductors, actually making connections to live conductors. So I only use it for this, so it's very rarely used, but it's kept in immaculate condition. You can see hopefully screwdrivers over in this half here. Budge him over here. Let's try again. Let's hold it up like that. There we go. So these screwdrivers, they are the non-slimline range, although Tolsen do make a slimline range, so they have like the step, if you will, in the insulation on there. So if you go into deep recessed screws, it does sometimes catch you out and you can't get to them. In the set you have Phillips 0, Phillips 1, Phillips 2 and Phillips 3. So again, they do a posi, but they don't put them in these sets. You'd have to try and buy them separately if you wanted a posi screwdriver. Phillips is not ideal, but it will do. It gets me through most of my needs. On the slotted range side, we have a 2.5mm blade. Oh no, I think this is a 3, is it? Yes, 3mm blade. You have a 4mm blade, 5.5, and a 6.5. And these are all the flat blade screwdrivers that you can see there. So I have used these a little bit, not an awful lot, and they've been perfectly okay. I've not had any issues with any of them whatsoever. The handles are more on the chunky side, if you like, especially when you get to the larger sizes. And they've got a fairly unique shape, so you've kind of got this square shape at the top when it bulbs out to fit into the palm of your hand. And then you've got a fairly small finger guard, but it does have grips on it towards the end of the handle there. The yellow aspects of the handle are a hard, smooth plastic. This red surface here is more like your comfort, slightly texturized grip that you see. They are stamped up VDE on the tools as well. Got the Tolsen logo and the actual size of the screwdriver. That's all on the front surface. You don't have that repeated on the end of the screwdriver. So if you took these out of the case and used them in like the Vito and the Velocity tool bag stood up, you can tell that it's crosshead or a slot, if you like, but you wouldn't be able to tell the actual size of it other than by judging that it's a larger slot or a larger crosshead. When it's set up vertically, and they all do have a hole there for the tether should you be working up at height. So that's the screwdrivers. They do come in and out very easily out of the case, courtesy of this big slot around the handles, so you can easily remove them. No real problems there. This is glued in, so the actual foam looks like it's glued in. It probably would come out, so you could probably, if you wanted to, reutilise this case if you had different tools by peeling this out and replacing it with another foam strip. So down in the second half of the case, it's going to be a little bit more awkward to show. We have our neon screwdriver. Enough said about that really. Sticking back in the case, although they do make quite nice terminal screwdrivers, thermostats and stuff like that. We do have a knife over here. Now these 5 tools here, unlike screwdrivers that have the yellow plastic is hard and the red plastic is the texturized finish, this is the opposite way around. Your red plastic on these tools is the hard smoothed plastic, and then your texturized is on the yellow plastic that you see here. All these tools are part of their injected range of insulation. They do have a dipped range of insulated tools as well. That some of these, I'm not sure about a knife is available. Certainly the pliers are available in a dipped version, and the socket sets are available in a dipped version as well. So we just grab a piece of paper to demo the knife. It's got this clip over cover. The knife itself, there's no insulated protection across the back of the blade that you do see on some knives, and obviously it's a completely straight blade that you see there. There's no real curve to it, but it's good and sharp. You can see pretty reasonable. Shouldn't be any real problems with that really. Say quite a nice little cover on there. Stop you stabbing yourself. And that lives in this little foam cutout here. And then we move on to our long nose pliers, fairly standard long nose pliers. And you've got the Tolsen logo on the texturized yellow plastic, and smooth red plastic there. There's a little bit of a seam line there, but it's not overly noticeable. And again, you're stamped up inside of these. Pretty good closure on the long nose plier part. You see, you can rip the paper. Obviously, you've got your serrated jaws there, which are in actual fact a straight set of serrated, as opposed to sometimes, yeah, you see on the combination ones there, you've got the actual curved ones, more for gripping around a bolt a little bit better, or gripping around a nut a little bit better than a straight set of serrated jaws do. And you've got pretty good closure. Need to find myself a torch, don't I? So you do have pretty good closure on the cutter blades here. Put a torch against them, and you can see a little bit of a gap through them, but not much. So they do operate pretty well, and they will cut cable reasonably easy. No problems whatsoever there. Not a bad pair of pliers at all, really. Oops. And they strip them as well, not too bad. These strippers on the opposite side, traditional end nose strippers. These ones are not quite so good. Not too bad on wire like this. They will strip these with no real problem, it says. So they've stripped that all okay. There's no marks on it. When you get to thinner wire, it does tend to kink that wire quite a bit, and then you can end up cutting off some of these cores of stranded cable. Solid core, it's okay, it does cut them as well. I did see a video from the electrician's tool channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description. He had a non-VDE set of Tolsen strippers, and he had a similar sort of issue, and I think the issue tends to be around the head here, and there is quite a sizable gap in between the two blades. So I believe that's probably what the problem is with that. If I grab another set of strippers, these are the NWS ones, and you can see hopefully that there's a much closer gap with these ones between the two blades than these Tolsen ones. So I think that's what the issue is. But they're usable. They just could be, just have a little bit more finesse to them. And again, you see the edges are all chamfered on this tool, whereas on the Tolsen ones they're quite sharp and abrupt. Again, not the end of the world, just you seem to have a little bit more quality with this NWS set than you do with these ones, but they are usable. So moving down this way, we find the side cutters, or diagonal cutters as Tolsen like to refer to them. Fairly small set. They don't have any of the multifunction that you see some of the side cutters coming out with these days. Looking at these, you do find there's a bit of gap in there. I don't know how well we can show it up. Hopefully you can see. So this top edge up here to sort of like down about 2/3 down there is a gap and you just get closure at this end. You do tend to see, if you look at it, as though the grind on these, it tapers off as it gets down toward this end, as though there's not enough grind on the actual blade to allow them to close fully. But having said that, they do cut perfectly okay, no problem with them. So they are working fine despite that. You can strip them as well. As I say, this is multi-strand, so even cutting right at the very tip, it is still cutting through all the strands, it's not leaving anything. So despite that little gap, they do work. Again, I guess it's just a sign of quality again, isn't it, that generally speaking, other manufacturers, you'll see complete closure across the cutting edges there that you don't have with these. Don't want even there. So that's those, and then finally combinations. These are pretty good. They do have full closure across the blade here. Very there's a little bit there, I guess, but it's not too bad. It's much better than the side cutters. But again, these will cut no problems anywhere in the blade. So they're all okay. You can use them for stripping as well, although we've just caught the cores with that one. Chop them off quick so nobody sees. So yeah, not bad at all. Obviously these, let's look at the tip. So the tip on these, I don't think, these close fully on the tip here. A bit of paper in there. And they're not too bad. Oops, no, that's because I'm gripping there, isn't it? So yeah, there's not full. And I'm gripping quite hard there. If you've got quite a loose grip on them, they don't. You have to kind of really press down hard on the handles to get full closure at the tip here. But again, it's just that little bit of lack of quality in them that you see against other ranges of tools. Now, one bit that is missing screwdriver wise that I perhaps didn't mention, I mentioned these are Phillips. They do the slimline range, and they do posi as well, both in the standard stepped installation slimline, but they don't seem to do a modular screwdriver or the slotted posi combo screwdriver that we have in the UK for working on MCB connections. That does appear to be missing from their range. So that's pretty much the kit itself. As I said, I'm pretty happy with it. It only comes out on special occasions, but up until now it's worked perfectly okay. Nice and easy to carry around, fairly portable with that respect. And the main attraction to these, really, in comparison to other tool sets, is going to be the price. So this set from Pass is available for £95. Well, I did see it on Amazon for £90, so you can get it a little bit cheaper there. In comparison, this is a 15-piece tool set. So you have, looking at Pass website as well, they have an 8-piece tool set from Katu, which starts at £165. You do have a similar 9-piece tool set from ITL. That starts at £184, and that actually comes in a tool roll and not the hardened case that you see for the Tolsen kit. So going up in price again. In comparison to this kind of arrangement, Tang do an 18-piece insulated tool set, comes in a hard case, and you've got pretty much everything that you see in front of you with this kit. And that retails for, well, recommended retail price is £465. I can get that at a discounted price in the UK for £280. So, you know, coming up to 3 times the actual price of this Tolsen toolkit. And if you want to go for the big guns, 10-piece Knipex set that I've seen, that starts at £322. So yeah, they may not be quite as good quality as any of those sets that I've just mentioned, but they are significantly cheaper, and they do appear to get the job done. It would be nice if you could get more of the range in the UK, so I could have a look at that and see what kind of quality they are and how well they work. but as I said, it's just really Pass that seem to stock a limited set of the range and then a few bits and pieces on Amazon. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, much appreciated. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you again in the next video.